Hello lovely people, welcome back to another tutorial. It's Dee here and I'll be teaching you how I made this mesh skirt. It has this little fringe going on down here and I really love how it turned out. So I hope you will enjoy the tutorial. The measurements we're going to consider for the waist is that of your hip measurement. So you're going to measure the circumference of your hips, the biggest part of your hips, and that is what we're going to consider. All you need to remember is making a chain in multiples of 3, and then you're going to follow the instructions that I'll be giving in the tutorial. This here can fit, it can fit a size medium to large. It's a bit stretchy. I used the treble stitch. The yarn you will need, you're going to need, I used one skein, so it depends on how long you want it to be. I used this big twist acrylic yarn, and this is what I have left from the one skein that I used. So if you want it longer, you will need more yarn. Okay, this is a size 4 yarn and it recommends a 5mm hook, but I used a smaller hook, which is a 4.25mm hook. You're going to need a darning needle, you're going to need some scissors, and you're going to need a tape measure, which is very important because we also used the tape measure to measure the fringe here. Please consider subscribing to my channel for more tutorials, and you can also share this with your friends whom you think might like this video. You're going to make a chain in multiples of 3. We start with a slip knot, then make a chain in multiples of 3. I'm going to make a chain of 120. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Don't make them too tight because you're going to work around the chain on for the first row, so make sure that your chains are not too tight. Okay, so I'll be back once I'm done with my chain, guys. All right, so this is my chain of 120. I'm making a size medium to large. Okay, it's a bit stretchy. So it's about 16 inches when not stretched, and when stretched it can go all the way to about 21 inches. Okay, so 21 plus 21, that means I'm considering the hip measurement of 42. Okay, so your foundation chain should stretch to your hip measurement, because that's the measurement that we're going to use, and then we're going to use a drawstring to tie around the waist. So you're going to make sure your chain is not twisted. And then into this very first chain, you're going to join with a slip stitch. So right there, pull through like that, and you'll have this. So for our first row, you're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is going to count as our first treble. And then you're going to yarn over twice, and into the next stitch you're going to make a treble stitch. So this is my next stitch. I'm going to insert my hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2, and that's our second treble. yarn over twice again, and into the next chain, going to insert your hook and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. And as you can see, I'm working through the back bumps of my chain, but you can do it the other way around if you don't want to do this. Okay, yarn over twice, and into the next chain you're going to insert your hook and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2, and you're going to repeat that until you get to the end of the round. So once you make it to the end, you're going to count your stitches and make sure that you have the same number of chains that you make sure that you have the same number of stitches that you chained. So I chained 120, so I have 120 trebles. So you need to make sure that you have that. Once you're done, you're going to slip stitch on top of the 4th chain to wrap up this first row. And this is how it should look. Row 2, you're going to chain 4, and this is going to count as our first treble. Then you're going to yarn over twice, and into that same space the chain is coming out of, you're going to make a treble. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2, and you'll have this. Chain 2, yarn over twice, skip the next stitch, and on top of the next you're going to make a treble. Chain 2, yarn over twice, skip the next stitch, and into the next you're going to insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and that is how we make the trebles. You're going to do that again. So chain 2, yarn over twice, skip the next stitch, into the next insert your hook and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Chain 2, yarn over twice, skip the next stitch, into the next you're going to make a treble, and you're going to do this until you have five trebles here. So I'm not counting this first one because these are 2, so we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to make the 5th one, and then chain 2, yarn over twice, skip this next stitch, and on top of the next you're going to make 2 trebles in the same stitch. Okay, in that very same stitch. So here we have 2 trebles in the same stitch here, the chain and the treble that we made in this starting chain right here, and then we have 5 trebles, and now we have 2 trebles in the same stitch. Chain 2, yarn over twice, skip the next stitch, and into the next you're going to make a treble. Chain 2, yarn over twice, skip 1, make a treble into the next stitch, and you're going to do that until you have a total of 5 trebles with the chain 2 spaces. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're going to chain 2, and you're going to chain 2, skip 1, and into this next stitch you're going to make 2 trebles all in that same stitch. And you'll have this. So basically that is what we're going to keep repeating. Chain 2, yarn over twice, skip the next, and into the next make 1 treble, chain 2, yarn over twice, skip the next stitch, into the next, make 1 treble, chain 2, yarn over twice, skip the next stitch, and into the next, make a treble, for a total of 5. Yeah, repeat for a total of 5. Okay, here we have 1 2 3 4 5, chain 2, yarn over twice, skip the next, and make 2 trebles in the same stitch. Okay, this is how your work should be looking. We have 2 trebles in the same stitch. We have 5 trebles here with a chain 2 space. Then we have 2 trebles in the same stitch, and we repeated that same pattern. So that is what we're going to repeat over and over until we get back to the end. Okay, so I'm working towards the end, and here I have 3 stitches left, so I'm going to skip this one, and into this one I'm going to make my last treble. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5. Then I'm going to chain 2 to complete the row. I'm going to slip stitch on top of this 4th chain right here on top, make a slip stitch, and there you are done with the 2nd row, though it's the 1st row of the mesh. So you're going to slip stitch on top of the next treble, slip stitch, then slip stitch in the chain 2 space, chain 4, 1 2 3 4, that counts as your 1st treble, yarn over twice, into that same space, the chain 2 space, you're going to make a treble. So here we now have 2 trebles in the same space, chain 2, yarn over twice, into the next chain 2 space, you're going to make a treble. So we're working in the chain 2 spaces and not on top of the stitch. Chain 2, yarn over twice, make a treble in the next chain 2 space, chain 2, yarn over twice, make a treble in the next chain 2 space, chain 2, yarn over twice, make a treble in the chain 2 space, chain 2, yarn over twice, make a treble in the next chain 2 space. Then when you get here, you're going to chain 2, yarn over twice, and you're going to skip those 2 then you're going to skip those 2 trebles. You're going to skip those 2 trebles, and into the chain 2 space you're going to make 2 trebles. That's 1, yarn over twice again, and make your 2nd treble in that same space, and you should have something like this. Okay, we continue. Chain 2, yarn over twice, make a treble in the next chain 2 space. So right here, make a treble, chain 2, yarn over twice, make a treble in the next chain 2 space, chain 2, yarn over twice, make a treble in the next chain 2 space, and go on until you get to the next 2 trebles. Once again, when you get to this space, you're going to chain 2, yarn over twice, and make 2 trebles in the next chain 2 space. So that's 1 treble, yarn over twice, make your 2nd treble. You should have this, and we're going to repeat that pattern. I'll show you again. Chain 2, yarn over twice, in the next chain 2 space you're going to make a treble, chain 2, yarn over twice, in the next chain 2 space you're going to make a treble until you get to the next 2 trebles. All right, once you get here, you're going to chain 2, yarn over twice, and make 2 trebles in the next chain 2 space. That's 1, yarn over twice, and that's 2. You're going to repeat that until you get to where we started from, right here. All right, once you get to the end of the row, you're going to chain 2 and slip stitch on top of the chain 4. And that is how you complete the row. Row 4, we're going to repeat this row 3 that we just completed. So you're going to slip stitch on top of the next treble, then slip stitch in the chain 2 space and chain 4, yarn over twice, make a treble in that same space. So as you can see, the pattern is starting to form. Chain 2, yarn over twice, and you're going to make 1 treble in every chain 2 space. And of course, remember to chain 2 in between. Chain 2, make a treble, chain 2, yarn over twice, and make a treble in the next chain 2 space. Chain 2, make a treble in the next chain 2 space. Chain 2, make a treble in the next chain 2 space. Chain 2, yarn over twice, and you're going to skip the next 2 trebles, and into the next chain 2 space you're going to make 2 trebles. So make sure you have 5 trebles in between the 2 trebles. Okay, after the 2 trebles you make 5 trebles with a chain 2 space between them, and after the 5 trebles then you can make the 2 trebles in the same space. So I hope that is making sense, guys. This pattern is super easy, and this is a fast project to make. In just 2 or 3 hours you'll be done with it. So when you get to the end, don't forget to make your last treble in this space here. Chain 2, then slip stitch on top of the 4th chain, slip stitch on top of the next treble, and make another slip stitch in the chain 2 space, then chain 4 to start the next row. All right, everyone, you're going to keep repeating row 3 and row 4 over and over until you have enough length that you desire. You can even pull it a little bit if you need more spaces, and this is really stretchy, so I love it for that. Also keep checking, because the few mistakes I kept making was making the 2 trebles where I'm not supposed to make them, or making a mistake of making just 1 treble right here instead of 2. So you may need to keep checking to make sure that you're doing the right thing, so you don't have to, you know, keep unraveling your work over and over. So this is how the back looks, and so far I love it. So I'm going to continue until I have a total of 21 rows, then I'll be back. Okay guys, so this is how my work looks, and I have a total of 21 rows. Okay, so we're going to be making the fringe, and to do that I have already slip stitched on top of the chain 4, so I'm going to slip stitch in between the 2 stitches right there, like so. Then I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to pull through this loop, and I'll take the measurement for you guys so you know how long it is. I'm holding on to it. see, I think that is too long. So I want it to be about 7 inches long. My loop is 7 inches long. So once you're done with that, you're going to hold on to this here, and then you're going to twist this loop about 30 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 29, 30. So this is 30 times. So once you are done with that, you're going to bring your hook and insert it in the chain 2 space right here. Then you can let go of the loop. Then you're going to pull through with a slip stitch. This is how the loop looks. So we slip stitched in the chain 2 space, and we're going to do it again. So you pull this loop through until it's 7 inches. You will need to pull it more if you want your fringe to be longer than this. So I want mine to be 7 inches every time I pull it. Then you're going to twist it 30 times. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 29, and 30. So this is 30 times. Then you put your index finger right in the loop, and then bring your hook, and then you're going to slip stitch. Now we're going to slip stitch on top of the treble right there. Then you're going to pull through the loop. And there you have it. So from here you're going to pull it again. It's kind of twisted. Pull it until it's 7 inches again. Then twist 30 times. Holding on to this, going to twist it 30 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 28, 29, 30. Bring the loop, and this time you're going to slip stitch in the chain 2 space. Okay. You'll have to, touch it a little bit, but this is how it looks, and I like it. Then you're going to slip stitch on top of the next treble right here. Then pull it a little bit just to help it be aligned. So we're making slip stitches in the chain 2 spaces, and we're slip stitching there only once, and we're also slip stitching on top of the 1 treble. When you get to the 2 trebles, we are going to slip stitch in the between the 2 trebles only once, and then you move to the next. Okay, so I hope that is clear. So I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep repeating that pattern of making this fringe until I walk around the whole skirt, and then I'll be back once I'm done, guys. So this is my very last one, and it's coming from this chain 2 space. So I'm going to slip stitch right here between the 2 trebles. So I'm going to start my hook right there, and then I'm going to slip stitch. Then I'll give it a little hand here to make sure it's twisted the way I want it to be. So I think right here I'm going to make the last one. Okay, I'm going to twist it 30 times. Then I'm going to slip stitch on top of this next stitch, or you can also slip stitch in the same space right there. Then chain 1. Get your scissors and cut the yarn. Pull tight. I'm going to quickly weave that in because it's the only strand hanging. And there you have it, guys. The fringe is all done. So now that the fringe is done, we're done making it. We're going to make a long chain that's going to go around the waist. Also, you can make the waistband longer if you wish. You can make a few more rows upwards, but I'm going to leave it the way it is right now. I'm just going to add a drawstring. So simply make a slip knot and make a chain long enough to go around your waist. Then I'm going to get my darning needle, and I'm going to pull this chain through these trebles. Okay, let's see how long it is in case someone needs to know. It's about 46 inches long. I didn't count how many chains I made, so you're going to decide which is the back. This is the back for me. So I'm going to start from right here. Going in and out, pushing one stitch to the front and one stitch to the back. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. You can tie this from the inside. If you don't want it to be showing, you can tie it from the inside and hide it. And yeah, this is the front and this is the back, because this is where we had our chains. This is where we was slip stitching into. So let me know, what do you think? I'll see you in my next video. Ciao.